podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Welcome to UP this week. This is a weird voice, me introducing everybody, but Darth is ill and Dan is where Dan is and Gags is a lazy bastard. So we've got Bartz and Hamzah with me to talk about the epic game on Wednesday night and what a game that was. Bartz, did you have fun at the game?
Oh, it was phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I've been up this season already to Europa League, but to see a league game at that intensity against the top side was just was a different level. But it was a great night. Great to spend time with Darth always, but to watch that performance was really kind of brought me back title season memories. You were in the new stand as well, weren't you? Yeah, we were. Second tier, just sort of left of right of the goal. If you look at the goal, if you know what I mean, Annie Road end. We're right behind Jota's sort of finish and saw Bradley steam down the wing for most of the half, which was an amazing sight, to be honest, for a kid doing that. We'll come on to that. But yeah, it was a great night. Really good atmosphere. And yeah, from the stands anyway, the live feel, it was a real, I keep saying it, but they were in title mode for that night.
It was great. And Hamzah, where did you watch?
I watched on the dodgy screen that kept cutting back to Steve Bowyer in the studio.
Oh Jesus! Do you pick up on the atmosphere as well?
Yeah. Once I tuned in, it sounded quite good. But yeah, you said the laptop speakers. So it wasn't highest quality. I rewatched it earlier though, and it did sound quite good. Yeah.
It's interesting because from the ground sometimes it's a perfectly nice atmosphere, and at home it sounds horrendous. And then others, it's a raucous atmosphere, and it sounds like a raucous atmosphere on TV. So I think it depends on the TV companies and where they placed the
mics,
their sound equipment. Yeah, and also I don't want to sound too conspiratorial when we're on a pod talking about a game with Paul Tierney, but I think it depends on their mix. I think they can choose to make crowds and ends sound louder or quieter than others. But it's nice to hear that it was as good an atmosphere as it sounded on TV, Bartz.
Oh, it was, and also obviously Annie Road, you're right next to the Oppo fans, aren't you? So all game was, you can imagine the classic chanting between the two sets of fans, which probably from our perspective made it sound even more raucous, if you know what I mean. Well, if you were in a completely home end, should we say?
Yeah, and it always helps when you get off to a good start, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Should we chat about the lineups? I don't know, like how we're going to do this because they usually chat to me about it. I'm not entirely sure it really matters. Hamzah, do you do lineup?
Yeah. Conor Bradley retained his place, even though Trent was on the bench. Konate, Van Dijk, centre-back partnership. Gomez at left-back. Szoboszlai back in as well with McAllister and Jones. And then Jota, Nunez, Diaz front three. Diaz off the left, Nunez for the middle, Jota on the right. I think we mentioned this before after the Bournemouth match that that's Diaz's best position on the left. That's probably Nunez's best position through the middle. And Jota is the most capable player of the three in filling in wherever and doing bits and bobs to connect the team without losing too much of his game because that's probably not his favourite position, but he's still very good there.
Chelsea makes sense. What would you boys agree with me in that it depends on the skill set of the combination with a fullback and how we build through midfield as opposed to the side?
Yeah, I think I was going to come on to that in the latter game, but maybe looking at the Arsenal, I thought the way Bradley's going to overlap, I think helped us, like helped matches in with Jota, if that makes
But yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. It's much more similar to how Robbo would play down
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Jota.
Whereas Gomez was tucking in to allow Diaz to remain 1v1 with no overlapping player, if that makes sense.
That's all I was saying was, does it seem, would you think it would seem a little bit more familiar to Jota having a similar role just on
Yeah.
the opposite side of the pitch than having Trent there when it's a very, very different role? That's it's kind of people go left and right, and I often wonder if there are other implications that cause impediment to how they play.
It's the whole system thing, right? You talk about it all the time. There's different roles for the fullbacks depending on who's playing, So if Trent's back in, then presumably the left back skill set probably needs to be more of an overlapping fullback, and then your left forward might be better being a Jota type forward rather than a Diaz type forward. But we'll see.
Makes sense. Sorry, Hamza.
That's all right. I think it's a good point as well because Jota, of that front three, he's the most likely to give combinations infield.
Yeah.
So if you've got him dropping in, it makes sense to have a bit more width from Bradley and a bit more sort of directness and capability to drive upfield rather than Trent coming in field. And it also allows Nunez to peel off into that right half space zone or even just outside the fullback. And there's an opportunity in the first half where Jota did that exactly as he came in, set up a combination, pass went forward to Nunez, and he got a shot off. It might have went wide or might have been saved. But yeah, that's our Liverpool setup. Chelsea had a number of sort of changes. Chilwell Quick was the captain. Badashile Silva at centre-back, Dizazi at right-back, Caicedo and Fernandes in midfield with Gallagher, and then Sterling, Palmer, Madueke as the front three. What we did was quite interesting. We pressed like super high. Bradley was important to that, so he pushed up super high. Jota and Nunez sort of set a front two. McAllister also joining the press. And Jones would often fill in the middle. So obviously, because Nunez is a central forward, but as Liverpool are pressing, he went to the right. He went to the left. Jota went to the right. Jones moved into the middle, and then because Chelsea had that spare man, Van Dijk would actually step up and go super sort of high as well. So it was a high press, really high press whenever Chelsea sort of played out, and it caused them quite a few problems in the first half.
But do you have the match summary?
Yes, I do. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just load that up. So, possession, I was just chatting pre-pod, but it was surprisingly 50-50 came out. On-board time slightly different. I think we had 41, they had 36. Touches relatively simple. Total shots for Chelsea, 4 to our 28. Off target, 1 to our 6 off target. On target, 3 versus 14 for us. In terms of in the penalty box, they had two shots in there. We had 15 in the penalty box. Outside the box, we had 13. They had 2. One big chance to 4 to us, that is, and obviously 4-1. XG, 0.58 for Chelsea, and obviously they didn't get any penalties, so that's the same for non-penalty. Us, 2.78 XG, but 1.99 non-penalty. In terms of post-shot, 0.59 for Chelsea and 3.74 for us. And my EPV, which I know is slightly different to XT, I had them at 0.7 and us at just over the 1 at 1.06. So conversion, they were below at about 80% conversion of their EPV. For us, that we were over 250% conversion. So pass success rate, again, around the 86 mark for both sides.
Yeah, that's I think that in the big bunch of listed newer stats that we see these days, one of the keys in this to explain the difference between the possessions in this match position was field tilt. 71% for Liverpool, 29 for Chelsea. We were in their box.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where the shot, the volume of shots in their box, the type, all of that. I think that demonstrates in that as well. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the only thing to know as well, they actually had more possession than us in 2 periods out of the 15 minutes, which was interesting. They got up to nearly 60% possession between 61 and 75, which is around the time we made the subs, I think. And they were also above us for 90 plus. But that doesn't really matter. So yeah, other than that, it was a fairly even possession wise across all the periods that came.
So I split up the game typically into quarters, and usually the first one ends after 23 minutes, which was beautifully encapsulated by a young Diogo Jota to end that period. From my perspective, it was total dominance. So 214 touches to 154. We had 10 touches in the box, and they had 1. 6 shots in the box to 0. We had 145 final third touches. They had 8 in ours. And 3 of those were throw-ins.
Yeah,
This is as dominant first 23 as you're going to get, and capped by Diogo being Diogo.
and 2 previous shots from Darwin that were. One was saved and one saved at the bar, wasn't it? So, one was saved onto the post. Is that right? I think that's the right that period, isn't it? Yeah. So
Yeah. To begin one of the main narratives of this game, if you're watching on TV, Darwin hitting the post, which the first one was actually not registered officially as a hit in the post because it was saved onto the bar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From what I thought is the story of the game, I don't know if you saw, Hamzah, but we had 7 switches in this game, and 5 of them resulted in within 30 seconds of a significant shot or chance our way. I thought it was a key component to how we play, and if you listen to me weekly, you will hear me bang on about switches. And we played a great through ball from was the first one for Darwin's. From Conor Bradley.
Yeah, I thought it was
lovely through ball that Darwin got some, I don't know, swizzle on.
Yeah.
Like the shot, the camera angle from behind Darwin, the ball fizzed all over the place. It was a hell of a save from the keeper. Though I actually don't think it was. I think it was going to hit the bar.
I thought it was going to hit the bar straight on behind the keeper, to be honest with you.
But it swerved like a motherfucker.
Yeah. But then it might have gone in off the keeper.
Yeah, it could have bounced off the bar. Yeah, it was going to thunder the ball rather than skim the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tactically, what are your thoughts on that, Hamzah, with the switches?
That chance I mentioned earlier where Jota dropped in, that came after a sequence of moving left to right. I think McAllister played the first switch out to the left, and then it came back in. So it wasn't just direct switches of play, but as in quick shuttling passes as well.
That's why I said the 30 seconds, yeah.
So by moving so in that example that I brought up earlier, rather than often when you think about a switch, you overload one side, switch to the other, and then you attack that space because it's underloaded, right?
Yeah.
But this chance I'm on about was side to side and then through the middle, just by shifting across very quickly, open up the spaces centrally, and then a pass forward towards the box, and that speed to play forward was what I thought Chelsea struggled with the most, and that was part of the counter press as well. As soon as we won the ball back, it was an immediate move forward, and that caused all sorts of problems for them. But but I also thought the spacing as well in midfield was really good for both the hands pressing and these situations that you mentioned with the switch, right? By having compactness and good spacing in midfield, if the team lost the ball, they're ready to counter press. But at the same time, the spaces for Chelsea were out wide and they couldn't play through the middle, so it went switch to switch. Lots of bodies infield to exchange around as they were stretched and exposed to spaces, because it's all look, if you do a switch onto the left side and you've got loads of bodies there, you can play around 1 or 2 players, but they're not really that sort of stretch. It's not that dangerous. But if you stretch Chelsea infield by moving the ball side to side and then play around them, you now have a more direct sort of route towards goal. And I thought that's what we did well. I don't know if you quite agree.
No, absolutely. I believe it's part of it's become very part of the Coverciano's group of coaches that have the last 5 or 8 years, maybe the young Italian coaches. That is very much part of like their, like Klopp is the gegenpressing, and it's his theory, it's his I don't know, principle, thread of principle. That theirs comes about. One of them is the switch, and it's playing the through ball within 3 passes of that switch. So what they do is, as you explained, is they're trying to cause not just an overload. What they're trying to cause is the movement towards that. So they're going to switch out left, and as the defense moves across, that's when their 2 passes and then a through ball happens while they're moving laterally to catch up with the switch. It's not to catch them out with the switch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what I thought we really excelled in using it. I think in the last maybe 3 or 4 games we've started to do it. The number of switches we have. 2 years ago, we were playing like 15 or 17 a game, and it dropped down to 1 this season. And in 2024, it's now up to 6. So it's definitely coming back. There is I believe there's a definition change anyway last season. So fewer number of passes got labelled as a switch, but it definitely went down, and it's definitely going up again. And something tactical is happening on purpose.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So tell me about the goal.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Mark's want to kick that off, or?
Can do. I mean, it's a ball from Bradley. I can't remember where it comes from, but Bradley into Jota, who does the Jota thing. Just got bundles himself into the box and then just gets a finish off to finish it. But the Bradley ball in, I think it's from deep after a quick 1-2, I think, and feeds into Jota.
There was a turnover there first, though, right?
Yeah.
Bradley wins the ball off Chilwell, right, into Szoboszlai, and then breaks.
That's the 1-2, and then breaks, and then he's into Jota, and Jota bundles himself round the player. I don't know what TNT were looking at or the VAR was looking at, because I haven't seen that bit of the footage, but in the ground there was quite a long VAR check on this one.
At one point, Fletch, who is a dickhead, even he said, literally, quote, "They are trying to find something to rule this out here."
Okay.
Because there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. And if anything, there might have been a handball by the Chelsea defender.
Right. So if it hadn't gone in, then we'd have been right to claim for a penalty, maybe. But no.
I think it was actually out of the box. But yeah. So it was just craziness. But he finishes well in the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of like you always say. He is a bit Lineker like that. Literally, if he's got a little sniff of opportunity to get a shot off, he makes sure he gets a shot off, and it's clinical. It doesn't matter whether it's power, side foot, or anything. He just gets a shot off, and it rolled in. The keeper couldn't see it and get in, and I think it was absolutely what we deserved for that period of time.
He's got a 33% conversion rate this season,
so he's running a bit hot.
Yeah,
there's a few nice elements to it, I think. So the tackle itself, the return. Then the drive forwards, and as Bradley's running forwards, Jota and Nunez do a little scissors motion, not like a really obvious one, but they cross over. Nunez draws a bit of attention. Jota slows his run, so if one's sprinting and the other one's a bit slower, then obviously you're gonna have more. Jota has a bit more space. Then he does his sort of Rhino impression and just breaks through the middle. But a few moments, and in particular, the pass from Bradley into Jota is a bit more difficult than it might seem because he's running at speed and Caicedo's trying to cover the angle, and he just he gets it really nice into Jota so he can control it, and then offers a return as well. So yeah, a few nice little elements of there, not too sort of special, but nice little elements, I think.
Do you think there is a better game to example Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez and the qualities that they bring to a football match
than this one?
Yeah.
Right now, probably not, because I think as Hamzah just said, their movement complemented each other really well.
Well, in that, my point is that stylistically they are very, very different.
Yeah.
And the things that they do differently, they did in this game in the most extreme way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched that I watched that back a couple of times because I thought exactly what Hamzah was saying, that Darwin's run created the gap, and whether rightly or wrongly, there's I don't know who the centre back is. It's not Dizazi who was playing right back, wasn't it? Yeah, he didn't go with him. And so he didn't create any room at all. He went to press Jota. Jota just managed to bundle the ball off him and it hit him on the chest and he went through, which is weird. It was a good run from Darwin. It's just that the defender didn't bother to track him at all.
I was going to say, did you think, this is going back a bit, but in the first period of time, we played a lot of balls over the top to Darwin.
Yeah.
It meant that they had to sit deep because they wanted to stop that, which then gave us a lot more space to play in front of them, which then we then created a chance like this, which was in front of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the first 5 minutes, we were pinning them back, and then the next 5-10, we were playing in front of them.
They were trying to get out.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That when I think we excel in teams that, even though they're not great, but they are on. I find. Don't know. You Hamzah, following nationally. You have to follow these teams closer than I do. But I think that they're on a journey towards being a dominant attacking team. That's the purpose. That's what Poch is trying to create. So it's almost like playing a slightly lower standard Champions League team because they're setting out to win. They're not setting out to kill the opposition with bodies in spaces and staying inside the box and blocking shots. Do you know what I mean? So there's opportunity because they're willing to risk space to attack, and we just bludgeoned that space that they left. First behind their two brilliant centre midfielders, and then, which I find is interesting, there's another interesting thread there. But then also behind the centre backs. What do you guys think? Because you both look at the opposition way more than I do. Knowing Connor, his use in the team completely changed this season. So he's pretty much been a 10 and then moved into an attacking 8 for most of his career. And then early in the season, he was moved to the 6 behind Enzo. And now Enzo's come back into the 6 and he's moved to a 10 again.
Yeah, remember the first match of the season? That, as in Gallagher was the subject of the press, right? And that first 30 minutes, he had a really tough time when we pressed him.
Yeah.
I thought better than I do, so, but I don't think that move's helped him. I thought he wasn't. If you look at all the pass maps, I know it's average and what his involvement, his colour in terms of his EPV, he's not integral to the team.
Well, I think we were brilliant.
Yeah, I know, but even then, when they did get out, he wasn't involved.
That's because McAllister had one of the great games, I would say.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to stick up for Connor here. I just don't.
No. I understand.
Right in the middle of the pitch, I think Connor. I think McAllister was absolutely brilliant. I think.
Yeah, it was.
CJ and Zobo, that without anybody knowing, Klopp's just been proven right that's an incredible 3.
It is. But I thought they rotated really well. I don't know if you noticed, but
yeah, they really did. Zobo that our goal came from McAllister breaking. From McAllister breaking from inside the 6-yard box and Zobo just dropping straight in behind him.
And what they also enabled us to do is, if the centre half hasn't got a wide pass or a switch, they fizz it into the 8 who's playing back to goal, and then the 8 just pops it off. or plays it around the corner. And Dom's touch for doing those, you see it on TV, but it's when you're in the game, you see the spin of the ball and everything. It was just watching it from behind it. The ball's fizzed in from him, from Van Dijk or Konate, and he just takes one touch, pings it around the corner, and Jota's in or Diaz is in it. It's just that ability to offer another option from us playing out from the back, I think is something I hadn't seen and completely underrated. I think we focus too much on other stuff, but having the eights as a ball in from the back rather than your nine is a new element to our play, I think.
Yeah, all the while, the opposite eight is getting in to be the nine.
Yeah, exactly. He's offering that option, right? And then we're also
both of them are doing it
back.
Both of them are doing it. It's great. The system works really functionally brilliantly right now.
And you can see then when Trent tucks in, you've still got the security at the back, and you're still overloading the half spaces in the zone 14. It is a phenomenal tweak to our system. It really is.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a bit of a tangent there.
No, just because to evidence a little bit more of Jota is of our four forwards. So I run actions into the box stat. That's all. So this is just like how we get the ball into the box and which players are doing it through dribbles or through passes. And he is our second highest attacker by so he is at 3.01 actions into the box per 90. Diaz is down at 2.08 and Darwin's at 2.39. Mo is at 4.49. So he is very obviously the guy that gets the ball into the box the most to help it create. But second, Diogo is significantly higher than the others. So you need him to be that guy. And it's also gone up in the last 4 games as well. He's gone over 5. You got to fill in where you fill in, haven't you? And take full advantage of both the opportunities that you've been given, but sometimes you need to know the moment that you need to try to expand what you're responsible for.
Yeah, and I think Klopp spoke about the technical abilities that he said the Portuguese players, I think, have, and their game intelligence, and that kind of feeds into that, knowing that moment, knowing when to play. I think he's also, going back to our fullback point, I think he's also flourished from having that type of fullback, that type of ball he's been getting on the right side, which has enabled him to get it in positions that maybe he's more used to doing rather than the left, where Gomez hasn't been giving him that type of ball. But Klopp spoke a lot today and post-match about his intelligence in that type of the game.
Makes sense. Can you talk us through the next goal, Hamzah? We were kind of dominant, continued to be dominant again for the next 15 minutes before the goal. We had 214 touches. We had 182 touches, and they had 12 touches in the box to 1, and we had 4 shots in the box to their 0. The 4th shot being from
Conor Bradley.
That's my motherfucker.
Yeah, so just a little bit of context is in the press in this period was really, really intense. There's even some moments where, because in a few moments, what Chelsea tried to do is put 4v4 at the back against Liverpool, right? So Palmer, Madueke, Sterling, and then Gallagher will sometimes push up for a 4-on-4 matchup. And there's a moment just around 5-10 minutes before before the goal, which is in the 38th minute, where Enzo receives the ball and Konate jumps out. So he actually leaves the defensive line with 3 players against Chelsea's 4. But throughout the match, and it's not easy to see on the broadcast feed because you only get a section of the pitch, right? But so you have to pause and see who's missing to work out who's there. But Van Dijk and Konate both stepped out and were really, really aggressive and in supporting the midfield, which helped McAllister. And whoops, just turn my volume up. But yeah, this goal comes from a turnover deep. McAllister and Diaz both work together on the left side. Then they take the quick throw, and then another turnover. I think Caicedo goes to win the throw. McAllister receives it into Diaz. Diaz then plays it out wide. And because the throw was on the left side, Chelsea compacts. and trying to cover that side and the centre. So the opposite side is free, and that's where Bradley's just sprinted into, and he's got real sort of pace, and the finish is fantastic. Buried far corner, superb. But yeah, what this comes from again is turnover on Liverpool's left side deep, get the throw in, make the throw quickly and forward, turnover again from that loose touch, and then immediately moving it forward. So the counter press is just excellent here, and realizing where the space is, because Chelsea were able moved across to cover the throw because they're attacking down their right. Yeah, just a really really quick break. There's not too much you can do when a team plays this sharp on the break. Diaz just rides his challenge, plays it out wide, and the finish is excellent.
Makes a ton of sense. How good is Conor Bradley? But
you sort of try and hold back when you get as old as you or I. You've seen it all before, right? And you kind of go, yeah, all right, we'll see how he gets on. And the last few games have been getting but seeing him live, I can't put it honestly, and this is probably a bit too high, but he does remind me of Gerrard playing right back. He's so tenacious in the tackle. He can see a pass. The number of times he took a ball out of the air on his chest, and rather than play a safe ball, he fizzes it in the front man, or he drifts it over as a switch. He's already. I know you're saying that you'll probably say that academy players can do that, but it's just in his first pro big game. This is a top 4 clash, and he just looks so composed. Knew when to run, knew when to not. And that goal for me showed everything. He was tenacious. He knew when to time his run. He got in position and he took his shot, which is what he's probably been coached to do. And then there was a bit later on in the game we'll come on to, but he's pulled out exactly in position and he's asking Van Dijk for the switch. He's asking the captain of our side to ping a ball 40 yards to him. We're having the confidence to go, yeah, I'll take that down. I'll attack and I'll drive. It was just... I cannot believe how good this kid is at such a young age. As I said, he reminds me a lot of watching. I saw Gerrard making his debut in that. Very. No, he's not a Gerrard player, but just that level of this kid looks ready for this game.
Yeah, he is better than I imagined. It's like. Yeah, he has everything that I can see so far. People that listen to this regularly will understand I generally am reticent to.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Designate young players as the second coming of Christ. But hail Jesus!
I mean, he had 14 duels in this game for a kid. I think 50% win rate for a fullback it's not bad. It's just unbelievable. And the number of times he faced 3 different wingers, all different skill sets. So he had Sterling, tricky. He had the other lad, I can't remember his name, apologies. And then he had Mudryk later on in the game. He was a speedster, right? And he dealt with all of them. And he got his body in the way of the ball, turned, and then was able to play out or take a foul. And that, I thought, the most impressive thing I thought about his play was he knew when to take a hit and go down for a foul.
Yeah. Well, statistically, being under pressure, it's a shame we don't currently have our pressing stats, because this would have been a record. Applying stats bombs versions of pressures to ours, they're usually off, but they're around they're 15% up or down.
Yeah.
This game adjusted for minutes. When I saw their data, I shared it in the group, and Darth said that his pressures in this game were 34, which would have been a record for a defender.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He only played 67 minutes.
Yeah.
Adjusted for a full game, it would have been 46, which would have been our 3rd highest pressing in history.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, obviously the caveat is stats bomb do it for the whole move, not an individual press, but it is by the by. It's still
but within 15% of ours.
Yeah. No. I'm just giving the technical caveat for it, but it was a phenomenal performance for him. It really was. Yeah. Just to back up Hamza's point about the position of centre halves, if you look at the zone map, Viz, pretty much every zone is obviously coordinated, but is in the Chelsea half up to the first subs. It's like Van Dijk and Kanate are slightly below halfway on average position, which shows you the support they were giving Mac in terms of blocking that lane up, as Hamza was saying.
Anything else in the first half you want to discuss?
Penalty? Do you want the
Seven
penalty?
Darwin shots. Darwin had 7 shots in the first 26 minutes. He at one point he had 7 shots from 8 touches,
Yeah.
which is remarkable. This is Harry Kane feats here.
Yeah, I'm looking at his shot map now, but it's just it's just a blob of circles. Yeah, he's got the penalty on there as well. It's only for minutes, but yeah. What do you think of the penalty?
We probably should talk about that.
Yeah, 42 minutes, was it? 44 minutes?
Yeah.
Lost
But
to the
it was
back post.
actually one of the things that you talked about before the game about Diaz not really doing anything and the switch. It was another switch that the penalty kind of came from. It broke back out from, and then we got the penalty. And then
BBD knocks it back across.
Virgil, yeah. So was it a pen?
I mean, from our side, obviously, Annie rode the reverse side. It looked like the Pinnock Chelsea player kicked him. Still, but from the replay, I don't know, probably one of those, isn't it? He stands on his foot. He was down for a long time because we thought he might have to go off in the ground.
Can I just reinforce to my wife here? Really hurts when stud hits bone.
Yeah. But I don't know, what do you boy? I mean, you guys saw it on TV, so you would have the benefit of seeing the replay. Did you think it was pen straight away?
Hamza.
Yeah, I thought it was a pen. Sorry, I thought I was on mute earlier. I forgot to say. I thought on the New Year's point, I thought he must have thought Kepa was still playing the way he was shooting.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I thought it was a penalty. Yeah, I thought it was the right call by the referee.
Yeah, I thought it was I hate to say this, but in the first half, I had if I didn't know, I'd have had no idea it was Paul Tierney who was reffing. It was perfectly straight down the line. There was nothing contentious. He wasn't allowing any twattery to go on. But in fairness, Chelsea weren't doing anything skullduggerous. So
they were diving when they got the chance, by the way.
we had
got done for it.
Connor made a delightful dive into Virgil's hip.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. But it's football. All football is cheat.
No, I'm not.
I just didn't think it was that higher level of cheating going on in the first half. I thought it was a relatively, for a big
game,
heated, top 6 team. I didn't think it was that. I didn't think there were many big decisions to be given, other than the penalty, which I think it was very obvious and he got right. And had he not given it, the VAR would have given it because he stood in his foot.
Yeah, and I think you got the other one right. Connor wasn't a penalty, so that's fine.
Yeah. At no point did Connor have control of the ball. He was in midair by the time he was in midair, and he was beyond 45 degrees by the time he made contact with Virgil's. Hip. Virgil probably was a bit stupid, and if Connor hadn't have dived, I think it might have been a penalty. Not that the dive put the ref off. I think if he'd have carried on running, Virgil's mistake, which he made by shifting his weight towards that side, would have impeded him, and then he would have caused the penalty. But you can't give a penalty for somebody that was already in midair when they made contact.
No, 100%.
Though Harry Kane would be on 50 goals fewer than he has.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as Chilwell's dive.
Oh God, Chilwell's a schmuck. Quickly, what do you guys think about the Chilwell being captain? Does Pochettino just have a fetish for English lads?
Hamza?
Silver's on the pitch.
Yeah, that was a bit surprised. The whole mascot thing didn't really sort of reflect too well on him or the team. I don't know.
He got subbed. He got binned at half time. So. Yeah.
He was injured.
Was he?
This Chilwell was always injured.
Okay. Maybe still poor. So.
Right, second half. What happened at half time?
Hello, I'm here to annoy you. I'm here to annoy you into listening to more of me and more of others on EPL Index. We don't just have the Anfield Index stuff. We've got EPL Index as well, which covers the entirety of the Premier League. And we have 3 podcasts and a whole bunch of really good writing on EPLindex.com. the podcasts are my own Two-Footed podcast, which is every day at 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, covering the whole league. We have A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. You know Tadiwa, he does Anfield Index. He presents A Tad Predictable before every Premier League match week. And then Kevin DeVries and his crew on the EPL Roundtable, they're every week after the Premier League match week. So make sure you listen to everything we're doing on EPL Index and follow us there on Twitter at EPL Index. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Go on, Hamzah.
They made a number of changes because they were really struggling. Madueke came off, and Chilwell came off for Nkunku, who is excellent. Mudryk and someone else came off as well. I'm just checking who. It was Gallagher who came off for Malagusto. Well, no, Chilwell came off for Gusto, and then Mudryk and Nkunku for Madueke and Gallagher. Nkunku is really good, as in if Chelsea had him all season, I imagine their results just would have been quite different. He's from the RB school, so he knows how to press, he knows how to counter press. He's strong, he's quick, he's nifty, he's technical. He can play as an inside forward, can play as a forward, but I think this season he's going to play as a sort of 9, as a supporting 9 or a 10, rather than on the wing. Pochettino said that because he needs to sort of build up his fitness so he can sort of cope with Duan's playing on the wing. He's really good, but it didn't matter too much because Liverpool scored their third before Chelsea scored their first. However, there was a big chance just a few minutes into the second half, the Mudryk chance, right?
Yeah. Virgil made a bit of an error down the left-hand side, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the 51st minute, and I'm just getting it up here.
I thought Verge overcommitted and meant that we had no cover. And then they broke and pulled it across the box.
Yeah, so they broke down the right side as Virgil went over. Knaus tried to cover. Bradley tucked in, as he's meant to do, because Palmer's breaking down the middle. And this is one area where you just notice that McAllister doesn't have the pace of like a really quick. Well, you just notice he's not super quick. As Palmer gets to pull away from him, and the ball across is good. And Mudryk really should score because Alisson's had to cover across the near side as the ball comes across. Bradley trying to cover in field, and Mudryk has a decent amount. He's got the pace, and he gets to the ball and he just skies it. Yeah, if they score that, second half would change quite a bit. Liverpool were lucky there, and Chelsea, that's just that's a theme for both this season and last season and the season before. They really struggled to take their chances.
Leading into their goal, I thought Nkunku had just looking back at the game without. Just from a mind's eye, I thought Nkunku had like a positive impact on the game at that point because I think he's a really good player, and then he scored. So I retrospectively thought he played really well. But in fact, by the time we'd scored our third, he'd had one touch outside the box, outside his own box, and that was the final third. He actually was a non-factor until. It was a backward pass just outside the centre circle on 61, of which we broke from. So, they had a little bit more possession. So it was 167 to 158 for that third quarter, and they had 2 whole touches in the box. And even a shot at this point. So you can say that they were coming into it. Obviously, one of those touches and one of those shots. And that shot was Mudryk's. We had 4. Obviously, that's 17 for Darwin. And 6 touches in the box. We were kind of comfortable in that. And I thought we were still... We weren't hammering on the door or anything. But it was... We looked still in the ascendancy. And then we scored... Do you want to talk us through the lovely goal, Bart?
This is the one with the VVD switch out to Bradley, isn't it?
This is the one.
Yeah, so we sort of do a lot of short passing on the left. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. And then Bradley enables Bradley to get high and wide, and then he literally tells VVD, give me the ball. And VVD pings a lovely switch out to him. Bradley takes one touch. burns off whoever was him, I can't remember, and then delivers a lovely cross onto Dom's head with Darwin coming in as well. So it was a beautiful ball in, just what you want from someone arriving, and Dom again proving one of our earlier points of one of the eights facing up for a ball and the other one making a run in the box. And this was Dom's turn to go in the box and scores with a lovely header to make it 3-0. I thought, apart from that error from BVD for the previous challenge you talked about, we still look comfortable. We've just gone off from being hyper pressing to a bit of containing mode, if you get what I mean, to come out and contained. But yeah, what did you boys think about Chelsea's changing system second half? Did you? Because we thought in the ground they'd gone 3 at the back.
Hamzah.
Oh, 1 second. I'm still just trying to scrub my
Because on the average position, it's a 1-2 rather than first half. Cancedo and Enzo are next to each other. Second half.
So what happened? Badiashvili went left back and Gusto went right back. So Gusto came off Chilwell and then went right back, and Palmer dropped into a 10 behind Nkunku.
Yeah, but I think they pushed Enzo further up. Or his average position's higher in the second half.
He just had the ball more. He just had the ball
probably.
higher. Yeah, he was still sitting to the left of Caicedo, and we were phenomenal at cutting off what Caicedo's options were.
Yeah.
Absolutely forcing him backwards. And I think there were probably 40 minutes in that game where his head was spinning on like a plate.
Yeah. If you look at the passes he could actually pull off on the pass map, he literally can only pass to Endo or Silva. The other links are all either non-existent or low, if you get what I mean. So his options were basically go back to the centre half or find Enzo. That's it. We cut everything else off, which was lovely isolation of him. And then he gets hooked, doesn't he? So.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's working.
No.
But do you remember the last time one of our midfielders scored a header?
Have you got it?
Well, I've looked, and the last one I can find. I know the last one I can find, but I'm not definitive that it was the last time.
It's not Fab. Oh, did you say Curtis?
Last week, yeah.
Oh, in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, no, I don't.
I'm going to go Fab. An away game somewhere. Like Burnley, maybe?
Maybe. It's not registered in my system as a header.
You know, like
I can think of was the last one I could find in my data was Wijnaldum.
No, away at Burnley rings a bell. Like 2-1, maybe Fab scores a header or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's the cream kit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
might have been last season.
No, I don't think it was last season.
Yeah. So, but it was a while anyway.
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah,
we're talking a good while since one of our eights has got in the box in open play for a header,
and also not from a set play. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
That Fab one was from a set play. I think this is open play. Yeah.
So with those parameters, I think I'm right. It was a City.
Wijnaldum
from City.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So this is just the function of our system working well now, doing this thing, and doing it really well.
And actually, Hams is just evidence exactly what we've spoken about. As in the previous game, the left eight went in the box and scored from a header. Yeah. So it's that rotation is happening all the time between the two of them, and brilliant. It's getting opportunities. It's good.
Yeah. So we've got two forwards in between the posts. One's an 8 and one's whichever of the left and centre forward that are still in there.
Yeah.
It's great. Right. What happened after we went 3 up? Then. At that point,
4 subs.
Yeah, at that point, Klopp went, right. Well, we usually do it around 67. I have 15 games where we've made subs at 67 or 68, and when there are multiple, it crosses both of those anyway. So this is definitely part of the strategy to modify load. And given who was on our bench, there's a bunch of lads that needed to come on to get more and more minutes in their legs to build up where they're at. So we got Robbo got 40 minutes in the previous game. he got 37 in this game if you add in the whole times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with Robbo and Trent and Cody and Harvey came on. I want to talk about those two in a second. But what happened after to our system?
Well, in terms of
Harvey went to the right, and I think it actually pertains to the goal. So I'll just run through it because he goes to the right. Diaz is obviously wide of him, but when it comes to this, the goal, right? So Enzo receives the ball just on the edge of the middle third in Liverpool's half, and Harvey does what was probably you guys termed as a Lallana press. He sort of jumps out, bursts, tries to from the right 8, tries to follow the pass, and Palmer just runs across him, feeds it into Badiashile. And then they've got Carney Chukwuemeka, who Chelsea signed from Villa. A good player who's just been injured a lot, but really sort of highly sort of touted for a long time. He's been injured a lot recently, sorry. Anyway, Badiashile gets the ball, and Harvey's out of position because he's been covered. He's the right 8, but he's moved all the way across the left and then followed the ball all the way around. Diaz is trying to cover the pass into the left to Mudryk on the left wing. Badiashile's left with a really easy pass infield to where Harvey should have been. And then Chukwuemeka drives forward on that left side to pass into Nkunku. And then he does his very nice sort of close control and finish. But yeah, Harvey went onto the right 8, and that probably wasn't his finest moment there.
Yeah, so they scored, 3 minutes after
changes.
The 3 minutes after changes. And it makes sense from what you're saying about Harvey being Lallana in that point. I'm not sure Harvey was actually wrong, because whoever loses the ball has to go get it, and we have to fill the shape in behind that. So, but in this circumstance, given that timing, it wouldn't surprise me if they just hadn't got their heads screwed on properly to notice who was going where and fill in, and also how Trent plays. I think probably the right 8 leaving that side of the pitch when Trent is playing right back and moving in midfield at any possible moment he can, I think is probably that the aggression to do that would be turned down about 10 notches, I'd imagine. So yeah, and it caused what it caused. And Nkunku's lovely finish. What can you say?
Yeah, I think you're right. So for that period of time in the ground, it looked like we just hadn't got ourselves sorted out. We'd basically changed. We'd gone from the left back not doing the overlaps to the left back doing the overlaps and the right back doing the tucking in. We'd swapped the entire right side. And it was just for that, I think it was 6-7 minutes in the end. It was 67 to about probably 70, 75, 78. We just hadn't worked out how that was going to work. And to be honest, if Chelsea had been a bit smarter, their second penalty shout is in there as well. That could have been an interesting end to the game. But
what do you think of the potential penalty shout?
What, the one with VVD? I think if the guy doesn't do the dive he does, I think that's pen. Because VVD does kick him in the back, like he does kick his leg if you like, but because the dive is the wrong way, I think the ref just goes, "What are you doing? That's clearly a dive." If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So if he'd actually just fallen over normally, I think it gets given personally.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac, and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Hamzah.
I didn't miss too much in it when I watched it. I didn't have any sound on, so I don't know what the commentators were saying or whatever. And I've still got no sound on now when I watch it back. So yeah, honestly, I didn't feel like there was too much in it. And I always think that the threshold for a penalty should be higher. Whether that is applied or not, that isn't applied by referees, but as in, I don't think that should be a penalty. Have they been given? Yeah, but like, those are penalties that shouldn't be penalties aren't given, and those penalties that should be penalties are personally, I didn't see too much in it, but a lot of other people did.
Yeah, certainly did.
Yeah.
Which I found really weird because the reaction was like that Virgil punched somebody in the face. And it was one of those moments in a game that there might have been 5 other moments in that game where there was more contact on a player inside the box. There was definitely contact. Is it a foul? I really don't think it was. But
the thing I don't get
is people throw themselves to the floor and it happens to have been called given a penalty this season probably 10 times.
Yeah. And the thing I don't agree with the comms is whether we could, whether it's penalty or not, we can, it's a counts come out, right? It's been given, it hasn't been given, we all seen them given. But there was, after that period of time, as I said, and we got ourselves back set again, there was no way Chelsea were getting back in the game.
No,
I mean,
you also, it's not like you can't impose the law of pre-received outcome. Yeah, true. That a penalty, given that a penalty might not have been scored anyway, but had there been a penalty, it changes for at least the next 2 minutes. The psychology of the game. Yeah. So stuff does change. The psychology of the crowd would have changed for sure, and perhaps. But we've seen our players as these are full on the mentality monsters all over again. Yeah. I don't think, even if we went 3-2, I don't think we collapse. I don't think Chelsea have the balls.
No, that's what I mean.
To stamp on our throats.
No, and we proved that a few minutes later, which went up the other end and scored. It's just...
Exactly. Do you want to talk us through that goal?
I've just got to find it in notes, actually.
Hamzah, did you eulogise that goal?
The Diaz one. Oh yeah. Oh, this was wicked. To be fair,
exactly.
To be fair, Liverpool also, like seconds after that penalty thing, also hit the crossbar with Nunez when Kepa came on and Robertson clipped the ball back for the header. But yeah, this is wicked. This goal as well. Every player,
touches the ball.
Yeah, this is wonderful from back to front. You see movement in and out. Good ball speed, the spread of play from Konate, good interchanging, sort of building sort of pressure on the left side, pulling them across, and then like that sort of like switch stuff we mentioned earlier, right? Konate, then there's the interplay on the left. Chelsea been pulled over. Matt turns, receives the ball and turns, and the pass is excellent as well. It takes out, it bisects 3 different players and gets all the way through them. Nunez wins his challenge, and the cross is superb. And then Diaz is there in the middle, so he's rotated nicely. But yeah, this is superb play. The speed. The other day, Iraola mentioned like when you play that sort of way, when each pass is crisp and clean. And you're spaced out well and you pull your opponent from side to side, there's not actually too much you can do there. And this is just excellent football. The pass from McAllister is gorgeous, and then the ball across goal. The fullback probably should try and do a bit better, but that's like the focus should actually be on everything that preceded that. It's superb.
Brilliant move. Anyone looks at the viz, it's the green trace in the 76 to 90 plot on my viz for 15 plus passes. So if you were but that boring, but yeah, it was a great move. Absolutely phenomenal move.
So we had 21 passes. We had the ball for 47 seconds. Every player on the pitch touched it before Diaz finished. Like, that's a true Liverpool bullying Chelsea goal. Goal of the highest quality. And all the players did the awesome thing that they are good at. And a brilliant pass from McAllister. Darwin is phenomenal when he's not thinking and he puts the ball in the box like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I remember Shearer had a brilliant cross on him. And he used to be like, yeah, this is how I want the ball crossed to me.
I was going to say, it's because forwards know whether they want the ball to receive the ball, don't they?
Yeah. So it looked like he played the ball in for Diaz. I actually think he just put the ball into the best area.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it is, because Diaz had to make a ton of ground up to get in there after the pass was made. So it was totally made from Darwin. It was that moment. It was brilliant.
And Diaz has done that run before, right? Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, was that not a similar kind of run? He's done it at various grounds. He's peered at the back post and topped it in. And
it's a big part of the role of his.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, playing there. So it was great.
That goal
was a great way to finish at 4-1.
That goal's a sign of Liverpool at their best. I mean, I remember in the 18-19 season, there was the goal that Liverpool scored at City and the one that was played off the line. Both of those were like amazing, sustained, fluid passing moves.
Yeah.
Including switches, and it's just a demonstration of a team that's performing near their best. In terms of team goals by Liverpool, that's got to be up there top 5, I think.
For this version of Liverpool, I think you're probably right.
Yeah. We've done one previously.
In that great season, we had Naby got one against Bournemouth, I think, and it was 32 passes in that move. Everyone touched the ball.
Outside the foot finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to take into account the opposition, so that was better because Bournemouth are better than obviously Chelsea.
And I don't think you could beat the City away goal.
No. That's got to be as team goals go.
That's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, but even that being said, I would probably sign up for for Ali to mow against Man United. That's plenty of team involved for my liking.
Yeah, true story.
That's unbelievable. Right, I delve into a couple of quick things because I want to end in a couple of minutes. The usage of the subs, because I think the subs, they play different roles depending on the games. And Harvey gets stick, we give him stick, and I think justified in a lot of cases. But his role is the things he does when he comes on a sub are different. And in this game, as in other games where we've been upping, it's basically to retain possession, do nothing stupid, fill the right holes, have high possession control, and a little bit of Gakpo in there. The Harvey had a possession control PC 90 of 19. So he had a possession control of 6. And he played 27 minutes.
Jeez.
And for a midfielder, that's Thiago level of possession control. He literally made every pass, or 18 out of 18, and then he went and recovered the ball 6 times in this game and won his only tackle. I think he's there. He does a really nice job. Dependent on the situation, and he can tailor his game to. I think he's obviously got limitations in his game, but he can change tactically how he solves problems. And I think Klopp is using him to solve tactical situations.
Yeah, do you think he helps maintain possession high when we need it?
Exactly.
Because he operates in the half space, doesn't he? So if he operates in that half space, maintains possession, we can then adapt our tactics to get up to him maybe and break, that kind of thing when we're ahead. Yeah, that makes sense.
So is my feeling is that we used to talk about how we would gegenpress from losing the ball by playing the ball above Bobby's head.
Yeah.
We would play a long ball above Bobby's head, and then we were already ready to pounce for the second ball. That's how we gegenpress. We gegenpress by creating a very structured foundation and then making an expansive pass in a specific direction, knowing that we might lose possession because we're already there to get it back. and it makes the opposition unstable because they suddenly go, "Ooh, toy!" And in that panic, that's when we can break behind them. And I wonder, I pose to you, at the end of a game, Harvey's doing the opposite. We're no longer trying to create that risk. He's put Harvey there in this area of the pitch. We're doing the bit before we might lose possession. We don't want to risk losing possession in this pitch in this area of the pitch anymore.
Yeah, but it'd be really interesting to see how many times he's come on and who the player's been playing as the right winger. What I'm saying by that is, so Diaz was clearly coming back to help out. Do you know what I mean? If Diaz is coming to help defensively, you can leave Harvey up to hold possession, then Diaz can catch up and take on the break, right?
Yeah. I don't think Harvey's staying high up the pitch. I don't think when the opposition, he's coming back, he's working hard. He's in his line with McAllister for most of the most of his appearance. It's just that when you've got fixed possession, he's taking no risks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
We've probably talked about this plenty. Is there anything else you boys would like to discuss?
On this or Arsenal?
Are we previewing Arsenal?
We can do a bit.
Sure, if you would like to continue for a further 10 minutes. I would quickly like to point out that we, on the last 10, the last 19, and the last 32 games now, going back to the moment we changed tactical formations, we are the best team in the league in terms of points per game, in terms of XG difference. So our projected points go to 88. City are on projected for 84. This game just confirmed my belief that we're going to win this league. You may now tell us how we're going to beat Arsenal.
I was actually going to focus on Arsenal set pieces and the threat that they pose, because the goal that they scored against us in last month, or was it December, was a set piece, and they actually have 38% of their goals, if you strip out penalties and own goals, from set pieces this season, and around 20% of their XG. Also, if you strip out penalties and own goals from set pieces, they are the league's set piece specialists. So what are they doing? Well, last season they played around a fifth of their corners short and targeted the front post a lot with their corners. And they do something that's the opposite of Liverpool. They always attempt in-swinging corners, and Liverpool almost always attempt out-swinging corners. The thing with in-swinging corners is that you are less likely to get a shot away compared to an out-swinging corner, because, of course, for an out-swinging corner, the ball's coming on to you as an attacker, and it's a bit easier to head it towards goal. However, on average, the XG of an in-swinging corner is higher than an out-swinging corner, and what they often look to do is win that first contact and get the second contact at the back post. Nothing particularly groundbreaking there. So this season, if you imagine the 6-yard box and divvy it up into 3 sections, last season, 18% of all their corners went to that front zone. This season, it's 29%, so an 11 percentage point increase. And they also, every now and then, go to the back post. What they do is they position their defenders in the on the blind side. So imagine you've got a corner. Let's say Arsenal have a corner from Liverpool's right side, and a right-footed player is going to take it. Let's say Declan Rice. He's taking the corner, and Saliba, Gabriel, and maybe Havertz, they will stand at the back post, and then they will stand even further behind that. There'll be 3, maybe even 4 of them, all sort of loitering there in the blind side. And because most teams sort of defend zonally or with a hybrid, they know those players are there, but they're not quite sort of sure. Well, they don't want to go to them. The reason being is if you're defending zonally and you're positioned on the 6-yard box, there is no way you're ever going to leave that area to go and mark people that are outside in the back post zone, like beyond the posts, because where you are is the most important area. But just as the kicker is about to take the corner, these players, they sort of rush in. And there's 2 things that they do. They have players that are positioned as blockers to block the goalkeeper and stop them claiming the ball. So not in a sort of mega illegal way. They'll just stand in the middle of the 6-yard box and maybe just in front towards the near post to stop a goalkeeper being able to occupy that position and claim cleanly. And what they'll also do is use those players in the back post zone to flood forward, create a bit of chaos. Often you might see someone like Havertz or Declan Rice actually run round the goalkeeper and then run towards the front post zone between like the front post, the edge of the 6-yard box man and the front post man. And then they'll try and steal in ahead of there. And the other centre backs will just sort of like, the other players, sorry, will just rush in and just try and make themselves a nuisance. So that's usually how they cause a lot of trouble in the box. They have a few different variations of this. Every now and then they do sort of go a bit, they try and mix it up. So there's a few like sort of short corner routines that they do where they'll swap positions and try and work a shot on the edge of the box. They very, very, very rarely have any shots like between the 6-yard box line and the 18-yard box line. Almost everything is at like the front post or at the back post after they get a knock on. They're quite good at this. Jova has their set piece coach has been tweaking this sort of stuff, and if you look at their goals per 100 corner rate, they're on 5.75, and for context, the league average is 3.77. And ever since this coach came in, they've been well above the league average. So they are very good, especially at corners. And that's how they'll probably sort of target Liverpool tomorrow because they don't really create too much in open play. That's about that from the sort of opposition scouting report side.
Nice. I would like to add the context of we were by far the most dominant team in the league last season from set pieces. Their shots, their XG value per shot from a corner is 0.098, as is 0.091. I think there's with relatively low sample size of not actually that many goals scored. So they've scored 10 from corners, and we've only scored 4. We have Virgil, who keeps missing. That Virgil's missed 9 big chances this season. Stop hanging out with Darwin, Virgil, and we would have been top. We'd have been top of the fucking set piece league. So I appreciate the tactical insight of how they do it from your perspective. I think is brilliant. I'm not worried about I don't think that they are geniuses. That's my feeling. I think they're running a little bit hot. We're running a little bit cold, and we're still very, very, very similar.
They have good set piece suppression. I'll give them that as well. The amount of shots they've conceded from set pieces is either still the best in the league or second best. And again, that's just to do with blockers.
They get away with it.
Yeah.
So on the Arsenal, any worries in terms of players still bettering that load, or is everyone good to start?
The fatigue index says, let me just get it back up. We have, who's red? Ali, Zobo. That's it.
Okay.
Updates on Thiago. Sorry.
How exciting is that? I just said my son saw the clip and then I watched it, and oh my God. You know when you're doing English at school and you have to learn Macbeth or any of that garbage that no one actually likes. It's like when I was at college, people used to pretend to like The Doors and Rolling Stones just because you're cool. And I'm fairly sure teachers pretend to like Shakespeare. It's not real. Thiago is real.
Yeah, that second finish. Oh.
That is the thing that they keep telling us Shakespeare is, or poetry. It's fucking Thiago.
Yeah.
Give him whatever money you like. I will happily watch him get out of his wheelchair and do a couple of things and sit back down again at 85. God, what a footballer.
Get him on the pitch. Just get him on the pitch.
God. If he, we said before Christmas, if he plays 10 games, we win the league.
Yeah,
I think we win the league. I think if he plays 10 games, we get 95 points.
Well, I think someone said today Burnley is the target.
Yeah. Oh, great. Oh, no, Burnley are a bunch of patsies these days, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's like, so that'll be 14 to play, 15 to play,
Yeah.
Burnley. Yeah.
And how do you think it'll be managed then, Si? Just
He'll be played. He'll just get once they built up his training load. He'll just. My guess is they'll do what they've done with him before and try to keep him about 110 minutes a week. But we probably can keep him slightly less than 90 a week and rock and roll with him, just playing once a week.
Rotate with CJ.
Yeah.
you think he'll play higher up then?
I think he'll play as I think he'll play as the 6 and Mac will go higher.
That's exciting.
That's very exciting.
They're just such good footballers, Mac. And I love CJ, but Jesus Christ, Mac, Thiago and Zobo, that might be the greatest midfield to ever play for Liverpool.
Yeah, and we've got some decent sides on the running to play that in, you know?
God, it's so exciting. The whole thing is so exciting. It feels like, I know it can't feel like 18, 19, 19, 20 because we were on such a good run at the time and it had been building for so long, but it feels like 13, 14 all over again. And we have finishers now. I don't mean finishers as in the thing that Darwin can't do. I mean finishers as in players that are proven they can get it over the line.
Yeah, it's like you're trying not to get too carried away, right? Because we're all trying to be realistic, but equally, everyone's got that feeling, right?
I don't have any time for being realistic. I just want to have the fun of it all. Dream.
Dream. That's what football's about as well, isn't it? You got to dream the dream. Got to dream the dream.
Yeah. So, anything else, boys?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from me, mate. Dream the dream.
Tremendous. So come on, Arsenal. My captain is a big fan of Arsenal and she's actually going to the game and I will mock her incessantly throughout. Come on, you Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.